So let's be real. You've heard a million times you need an email list and you need a newsletter. Everyone around you is starting a Substack, talking about their Substack, asking you to sign up for their Substack. And all of a sudden you're like, wait, do I need a Substack? I think I have an incredibly unpopular opinion here that I cannot seem to keep to myself. I talk about it if anyone asks me, if I'm involved in a conversation where newsletters or Substack comes up. If I almost overhear someone talking about it, I have to keep myself from injecting my opinion into their conversation because I feel so strongly about it. Yes, you need an email list. Yes, you need to be communicating with potential shoppers or clients or people who might want to hire you to do something. But no, you do not need a Substack. The three reasons that I think no, you don't need a Substack, and actually you probably should not use a Substack, comes down to the sell, the design, and the platform. My name is Leah. I'm a writer, editor, brand storyteller, and a creative entrepreneur who maybe, like you, is working to build something in my kind of gray hours alongside a full-time job and a really full-time life. That side business for me is a private women's group called Diana. I just hit 40. I was so lonely and wanting to find my community, kind of wondering, where are they? And I decided I should just make it myself. What's emerged is a really incredible group of women spread across the country. These are people with an entrepreneurial spirit. Some of us are building projects. Some of us have our own businesses that are profitable and making money. And other people are just dreaming of what they want to do and trying to figure it out, making their life the best and the most fulfilling it can be. If you have any questions or want to find out more about Diana, excluding when we are accepting applications next, you can join us at joindiana.com. But for now, back to Substack. First, I think it's really important to talk about why is everyone suddenly telling you that you need a newsletter or you need an email list. There's nothing new about this, right? An email list has been around since email was created. It's how brands use it to communicate with you, the shopper or the potential shopper, about launches or new products or sales or whatever. If you've worked on the brand side at all, you know this. People care about their email list and who is subscribing to it so much it's their bread and butter. The thing that has shifted recently, I think, is with the creator economy. Let's go back to, 2010, 2008. Creators, we used to call them bloggers back when I was a baby editor working at Elle. I remember when this whole hullabaloo started, Tabby Gevinson, the hat, front row, the whole thing, right? The first thing of currency for them was a blog, a proper blog. That's why we called them bloggers. It was about page views. It was about unique views. That was kind of the currency for them. Then that shifted to social media, which now is a huge thing. But y'all, do you remember when it was new? I remember getting on Instagram. I was an editor at Elle, and we were just told to post whatever we wanted, which now is insane. So you went from page views on the blog to being the thing that really mattered to followers, to follower accounts, that segue to affiliate marketing. You guys all know that too. Anytime you use a link that someone posts to buy something, you were giving them a percentage of your sale. That was great. But at some point, maybe it coincided with the rise of Substack, I think people wised up, or really smart creators did. And they realized that you could have 1 million followers, 2 million, 3 million. You don't own them and you don't own anything about them. If an app decided to shut down, the data went away, they would be at zero, which is terrifying. If you built your business around it, it's how you make money. It's really scary. You need to kind of own those names, those people, if you want to have any sort of security. With that, it's when creators started to realize they needed an email. Substack, though, to me, it's not really the answer, right? It was built for writers, people who needed a platform to publish and share great content, right? Amazing writing, a lot of long form stuff. The media ecosystem, as we know, is always really shaky. So it's excellent for what I think it was created for. Writers who wanted to write, get it to readers who could then pay them if they were losing their job at big glossy magazines or newspapers. What it is not for is for people who aren't writers. I'm so sorry. And that's where I think this huge disconnect has happened. So that simple fact, that raison d'etre for Substack, is really the number one reason, the kind of bottom line reason why I think a lot of people don't need a Substack. When I launched my latest business, I purposely stayed away from Substack for a few different reasons, but actually maybe the biggest one is number one. The most important is the fee, okay? Here's where we can't forget Substack was set up to be a vehicle for writers to be able to support themselves and their work and make a living as a journalist or writer or a poet, which is incredibly important. I'm a writer. I love the idea of writers being able to make a living off of writing, but that's just not true for most of us. I think if maybe this is just me, but now knowing Substack was set up like that, you kind of are pushed to anyone's page, even if it's a writer, a friend, a creator, an influencer, and you never intend on setting up paid subscriptions as an option, it's still kind of in the background, hovering. I can't even tell you the amount of times I've bounced from someone's page because I was asked, XYZ is currently offering their content for free, but will you pledge to support them in the future? I have a mini panic attack as a nice girl and someone who I don't want this person I respect, adore to think I don't want to support their work. Yet there is a quote from someone great of every writer kind of is like, this, the monthly subscription is just the cost of a cup of coffee, but you don't drink that many coffees. So I think it turns a lot of people away. If you're not going to use it for paid, why be on Substack? The number 2 reason that I think you don't need a Substack, probably shouldn't have a Substack, is the design. Don't forget again who Substack was created for. Writers. They deal in printed typed words. It's not meant for graphic designers, for photographers, for artists, for anyone who has an aesthetic vibe or kind of product as part of what they're doing. It's just not created for you. So maybe it's clear that there's not a lot of that. You can definitely insert images. They've made actually inserting video really simple, but there's not a lot of optionality in terms of font or headline. I remember getting frustrated over alignment. I wanted to make something centered and I couldn't. But more than that, there is this sameness, the same kind of vibe that permeates through any Substack. Think about anyone that you've read or looked at. They all kind of look roughly the same, right? You can update your banner, you can use a different image, but there's just a structure to it that's really, really hard to get away from. I personally hate that. It feels really stale and it's almost like subconsciously my eye is kind of triggered. It pops up on my screen or on my phone and just think, oh, it's another Substack. Everyone has a Substack. I don't like that for me or my content. And I think honestly, it kind of annoys me when I'm reading someone else's. It's already an immediate turnoff. Even if it's subconscious and I don't realize it, I don't like it. That was a big reason for figuring out how and where I wanted to email for Diana. I found an option I actually am really happy with. I'll share it at the very end. Conversely, these are some examples that caught my eye recently that I am pretty positive aren't made via Substack and really give a lot more optionality to see what the brand wants me to know. The final number 3 reason why I think a lot of people don't need to be on Substack and probably should not be on Substack is the platform. So here I would encourage anybody to think about, what do you need out of a newsletter? What are your KPIs? Are you trying to sell product? Are you trying to share information? Are you trying to get leads? Are you trying to convey who you are and your brand? All of those things are cases where I would say Substack is really not the best option for you. If you're trying to sell something and you're on Shopify actually has pretty decent email marketing tools. I don't think they look that bad. They're kind of plugged in with your store. So either it's syncing with your catalog or it's meant to do that, right? There are blocks to insert product. It has your kind of branding suite. If you've already uploaded that to Shopify, why not just use that? The other big thing, when I migrated from my original newsletter provider to Substack, I was kind of shocked by how bad I thought the analytics were. A little bit of that, to be very fair, is trying to teach an old dog new tricks, right? We all get comfortable with whatever platform or kind of analytics system in whatever way we're used to. Understanding and navigating a new one can be hard. But I thought Substack was just particularly not friendly. If you're trying to do anything where you really want to track metrics or open rates or clicks, I would really consider what newsletter platform you want to use, what makes sense for you. I think the thing also that more people should think about, or if you want to or going to need to institute flows, I don't think that Substack does flows to the best of my knowledge. It could be wrong. Flows, if you're not in the email marketing world at all, are kind of a if this, then that logic. So it's able to set up an automated email where if someone performs a certain way, they'll receive another email. So let's say you are a consultant and you're trying to communicate with prospective clients. You might send them an email. It has a link in there about 5 things you should know about working with me. If someone clicks on that, clearly they're a little interested, then you want to follow up with further details about how to book a consultation or the most common questions you're asked, just something to deepen and enrich that experience. You can set up flows in so many other email providers, but again, I don't think in Substack. So your email provider should work harder for you if the goal is to try to get someone to sign up or book a consultation or whatever. Remember, Substack's goal was to just give writers a way to distribute their content and have people pay them for the work they were doing, which is amazing. But I think a lot of people are using Substack, and that's not what they need or want. Okay, my bonus rec, as I promised. When I was developing Diana, I knew I didn't want to be on Substack. I knew I didn't want to be on some other platform that was all about paid subscriptions or made for writers. I wanted to be able to just make my message really custom and show the branding and the aesthetic vibe of what I was doing. I looked around at a few different options, including MailChimp, because everyone and their brother seems to use MailChimp, but I'm not an Excel girly, and it kind of gave me the same shivers up my spine. I want something really easy, really simple. I landed on Flodesk, which I think has that easy, basic, it's not really that hard to use interface that a lot of us are used to or want. If this is not our happy space, it's not something we're used to doing professionally. If you like this video, I hope that you'll consider subscribing. And if you're new and want to know a little bit more about me, my backstory, what I'm talking about, what my career has been like, you can watch this video where I introduce myself and talk about the number one best piece of advice I would give anybody who's considering starting something, leaning into an idea they've had, and especially if they're doing it alongside a full-time job and raising small kids, because heaven knows that's hard. Thanks for watching.